Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining me for another Master Lock Style Tai Chi and Qigong class. Please excuse me while I adjust the screen. Sorry, there's a wee dog in the foreground there. I'm still trying to get used to this new computer that has more like a fisheye, and it's very, very difficult to actually get rid of any furniture out of the screen. So anyway, let's take right hand in a fist, please. Left hand straight, pull back the thumb. Foxy's going to do some Tai Chi too. Feet together, hands together, and we salute. And hello to you. You've got toy sticking out of your mouth. There we go. He's flossing with, yuck, with glue. Okay, folks, a little warm up, please. So we open our stance and gently rock into the four corners. I'm not sure if you've met Foxy. I think you probably have. He's a good dog. So into the four corners we go, and you can add the little rocking forwards and back if you can, and breathe. Maybe see if he moves around. He is a wobbly dog. All his tendons seem to be longer than they should be. So for someone who spends their day looking at people's alignment and structure, actually it breaks my heart every time I watch this wee dog move, because everything goes the wrong way, bends the wrong way. And first thing in the morning he gets up and he just sprawls, you know, his legs go everywhere. But it does get better as the day progresses. So good. Let's change direction. And you would think a dog that was like that would have no strength, but he is a powerhouse. He's very, very strong, aren't you? Do you know we're talking about you? Just get rid of this. So if I'm trying to hold him back from something and he doesn't want it, oh my goodness. I have a struggle on my hands, don't I? Yes. Good. Okay, folks. So let's come back into center, and we're going to kick one foot forwards, step down, and we'll go forwards and back. Don't want to spend too much time warming up, because today we're going to go through the Immortals Crossing the Sea form. Foxy and I had a very late night time of it, sitting together last night, because in my wisdom I ate an entire bulb of garlic, not raw. It was sort of caramelized in the onion, thinking it would help me get rid of my sort of lingering cold. Let's feed the weight back, slide the hand down to just above the knee, and lengthening the spine, we bow forwards. Hello, Foxy. Yeah, hello. Hello. Oh, that's lovely, thank you. Yeah. Good. Okay, and easing up out of the stance, and change, kicking forwards and forwards and back. Yeah. He's quite mesmerized by Tai Chi, as many animals are. Yeah, he's a good dog. Forwards and back. Yeah, good dog. Great, well done. Good dog. Okay, good. And let's feed the weight back and slide down to just above the knee, lengthening the spine. Hello, love. Yes, okay, yes. And stretching the back of the leg, stretching the spine. Thank you, that's lovely. Yes, good dog. Good, and up you come. Well done. All right, let's do open door 5, and then we'll go into our form. Bless you. Good, so shoulder width and level, we lengthen up and relax down. Calming down. Calming down. Listening behind. Lengthen the fingers down. And off we go. Listen to your energy, folks. As you do this practice, feel into your body. Rest, checking posture, relax your shoulders, release your elbows, feel into your hands, and give your back a wee rub. Excellent. So as I say, in my wisdom last night, I ate an entire bulb of garlic. Looking back, I would not recommend it. I think you can boil garlic. I know you can, and it turns out to be kind of like potatoes. You know, it takes a lot of the sharpness out, so that's fine. You could probably eat an entire bulb like that, but I roasted it. I just stuck it in the oven, and I had quite an upset tummy last night. So Foxy kept me company while I had a drink and calmed my system down. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. There's a thing called an antibiotic sandwich, which is a sort of natural remedy for any infections, bacterial infections. And that's about 4 cloves of raw garlic on avocado and some nice spelt or something like that bread with a bit of honey and tomato. And that's lovely. A bit strong, but it's fine. But an entire bulb, no, I wouldn't recommend it. It tasted nice at the time, but oh. Okay, folks, so the entire form now. We're going to go through the Immortals Crossing the Sea. We'll go relatively slowly and see how you get on. And I'll be interested, after the first round, I'll be interested to hear, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down, where were you? We'll do it 3 times through, and then we'll do some problem shooting. Okay, here we go. Lengthening up. Relaxing down. Calming down. Ready. Start. Left hand under. Pluck to face the back, turn the right toes in, step to the side. Turn to the left, pluck left, feed the weight back, pluck right. And immortal fishing toad. Closing left. Good. Now that's actually this dog being incredibly well behaved, just ripping apart a wee toy. But is the noise annoying you? No? Oh good. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's your first step into it. I have a feeling that I seem to be quite far away from the camera for some of it. So I might actually try and start a wee bit closer to you. Or let me see. Yeah, if I lower the screen down a wee bit, so you'll see more and more of our furniture, but maybe that will help and I'll come a bit closer to you. Okay, yeah, then you probably won't see my arms. It's a difficult one. Okay, we'll try that. Okay, so let's go again. Hopefully each time you will find that it's that little bit more familiar. So we'll do it 3 times, as I say, and then stop and check. Just see how you're getting on. Okay, are we ready? We lengthen up. And calming down. Off we go. Step to the side left, turn. Good. And rest. Well done. Give yourself a wee moment if you want to have a drink. Hopefully the sound settings that I have is drowning out some of the dog ripping up his toy. Cheers. But it may also be drowning out the sound of the impact of the kicks against the hand. So we want to really focus the energy when we kick. If we're doing a foot into hand, we want the connection to be where the strength in the kick actually is. So be mindful of that. We're not just swinging our legs around. We want to focus the impact. If we're making a connection in a kick, that's where we want the connection. That's where we want the strength of the movement to be. And because of that, we want the hand, if you're kicking your hand, we want the hand to have equal strength. So remember, if your foot is strong but your hand is weak, when you make impact, you'll hurt your hand. If your hand is strong but your foot is weak, you'll hurt your foot. So it's vital that we have equal energy in both hand and foot as the two make contact, and then they will be perfectly content. They won't hurt each other. I've noticed that in sparring practice, or rather in drill, in a sequence, practicing with Willem doing his Shaolin style, the Chow Lei Fut. There are drills where you actually, you'll make impact against each other. You'll do punches and blocks and that kind of thing. And often I don't like doing that kind of drill with people who have any kind of something to prove, because they tend to really go for it and try to hurt you, but they're really, they're putting an intensity into it. And actually, it's fine to put a bit of firmness in, but when the intention is just to make a good firm contact and block, it doesn't hurt. But if someone is actually wanting to hurt you, you can feel the difference when you make contact, even if you're meeting them with equal force. So obviously you're not trying to hurt yourself. You're just trying to make a nice firm contact. So as I say, if you meet with equal force, there will be no pain. And I find that with blocking drills, if people are doing it nice and firmly, but there's no, they're not really trying to hurt you, that it can actually hit really quite hard and it doesn't hurt at all. So intention is everything. So please, even if you're doing martial drill, I don't know if you'll ever do that, but you should not have the intention to hurt the other person. And obviously, if you're working with yourself in something like this, you're not trying to hurt yourself. You're not trying to hurt your hand. You're not trying to hurt your foot, but you want nice, focused contact between the two. Okay, one more set, please, and then we will have a wee bit of feedback. Okay, are we ready? That was a very cheap toy and it went down very well. It got ripped to shreds in a couple of days and hasn't been looked at since, but today it's having a revival. Or rather, it's being torn even more to shreds. Okay, here we go. Jag posture. let's begin. Pluck, step to the side. Pluck, pluck. Goes left. Good job. Good. Okay, come and talk to me and let's see how you're getting on.
Yeah, that was better the second time, Jane. I just wasn't quick enough with the kick bit the first time. So that was a lot better that time.
Good, good. I think that's 3 times we've done it, isn't it?
Twice? No, isn't it twice? I don't know. Tony?
Oh, 3 times.
We've done
Was
it.
it 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all right. The first time was just to sort of jog the memory, and then the second time, yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, you're right. Losing track.
But that's good. It's good each time, and that's the way of it. It will get better each time. Sometimes, you know, if you're feeling completely lost, you might just keep feeling completely lost. But regardless, each time that you do it, you will actually build more just experience of it. You know, that builds up. And I think when we panic, we tend to just feel lost. I was actually watching a video on that, something called like learned, was it called learned vulnerability or learned something or other? But, you know, if you fail once or twice, then you'll feel less capable. And then even the things that you could do normally very easily, all of a sudden you'll struggle with. And that is very true. I've noticed that in Tai Chi and in life, basically. If you've been undermined or allow yourself to feel undermined, especially if people around you seem to be blasting their way through it easily, then even the things that you could normally do very easily become a challenge. It just kind of discombobulates you, it just sort of takes you out of your comfort zone. So my way of saying it is just don't be phased. If you get it, great. And if you don't, who cares? You're in the privacy of your own home. I'm too busy doing it to be, focusing on watching you. So it doesn't matter how well you do. And that gives you permission then to get it wrong, which also gives you more leeway to get it right. I was actually talking to Willem about this yesterday. He gets up in the middle of the night to do just a sort of basic job to earn enough money to then be able to go off and teach kung fu and not worry too much if he's not raking the money in. And I was saying to him, look, go back to bed when you get home, go back to bed, because I've seen him conking out on the sofa, lying down on the kitchen floor, which is, mats. It's got the kung fu mat, so it is nice and warm and soft, but it's, it's not bed. And he actually said, when I go to bed, I often lie awake and can't sleep. Whereas if I just conk out on the sofa, it's, in the daytime, I get much better sleep. And I figured, right enough, we can kind of set ourselves up for failure going back to bed in the daytime. Often, your body is wired to be awake during the day. And so you're kind of setting yourself up to not be able to go to sleep, and then you'll lie in bed frustrated. Whereas if you just lie on the sofa and allow yourself to conk out, you can relax because there's no expectation of sleep. You're not setting yourself up for the scenario of, I will formally sleep now. And the same is true when you're training, that, if you set yourself up for, I must do this correctly, then you can actually just end up being frustrated and confused and just not having a clue, and then feeling, that you can't do anything right, and then you're kind of struggling. Whereas if you just go, well, I know I don't know this form very well, so I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring and see what happens. Often then actually you'll find that you let go of worrying and you let go of doing it right, and therefore you have more capacity to actually just do it and stop beating yourself up. So I'm not sure if this conversation is relevant to you, but it is an aspect of Tai Chi that maybe we don't look at enough, is this concept that actually we want to focus our minds to get the best result. You want to do your best that you possibly can. That's the mind wants to focus, but the body should behave like you really don't care. It's not that you're being sloppy with your work, but you have this kind of laissez-faire physicality, and that allows the energy to flow, and it allows the mind to sculpt the body into position. Whereas if we care too much physically, we just add tension. We're like, I have to do this right, and it just takes away from the enjoyment, and it actually impedes energetic flow. So there's the yin and yang. We want to focus and do our best, and we want to behave like it really doesn't matter. And if you see some martial arts masters, Tai Chi masters, they look like they're just kind of chucking it out any old way. But if you look at them, actually their technique is perfect, but they have this real throwaway style about them. And the only way you can really get to be that good is to be careless, literally careless with your body, but focused with your mind. I remember watching this one master, and my master at the time was saying, look at this guy, he's amazing, look how good he is. And I was going, he looks kind of like he's throwing it about, and he says, no, but he's really good. Every single move is perfection. And the same guy had his granddaughters, so not even his daughters, his granddaughters, doing Tai Chi along with him, and they were also sort of throwing it around, because this is how he taught, because this is how he performed. He had this really relaxed way. And yet you could see that though they had a relaxed way about them, they did not have the underlying substance, that they didn't have the thing that he had. And the way I see it, it's kind of like Picasso, for example. So Picasso was incredibly good at drawing. He could, he could do beautifully skilled illustrations. He had all the technique, and yet he took his work. Sorry about that. Yet he took his work to a place where it was childlike, and and he would just do smears of color and all the rest of it, and yet you could see the brilliance behind it. Whereas anyone could just smear color and there wouldn't be that brilliance. So you can't just be the any old way. You have to have the focus, you have to have the intent of getting it right, but allow the body the leeway to just chill, so that you're not too intensely trying to get it right. And you're not too whatever. You have to strike the balance of both. Okay, Tony, how did you get on?
I'm a bit confused. Isn't there two ways where you were doing this and then this, but there's another way that you do the second kick instead?
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. So I got a bit lost then.
Okay, you've been doing the kick. That's great. Okay,
Yeah.
so this and this, you aren't actually on the recording. So for when you're watching it again and you're going, I wonder what I was asking about. Yeah, so that's at the end of the form. It's called overseeing territory.
Yeah.
And there are two ways to do it. So having just broken my spine, I've been a bit more gentle with myself. I must say, I am getting better. I feel every day it's much better. I do have an X-ray, a CT scan this coming week, but actually I'm feeling better. But I'm still avoiding any kind of fudging, any kind of explosive force. Much so, I haven't been doing that one, but I'll show you it now. Yes, there are two ways. The way that we were doing it today, where you do two standing on one leg moves, they look very like golden cockerel stands on one leg from Yang style. The way that when you do two balances, one on each side, is really like a preparation for the jump kick. So they're an adaptation, you could say, for when people just aren't feeling particularly spry, or just for whatever reason, the jump kick scares them. So I'll show you what I have been doing today, and then I'll show you the jump kick version, and I'll show you facing the way we normally face, and then I'll turn around and show you so that you can see the front view. I'm not going to mirror it, but I'll show you the front view. So just have a wee watch, please. So the bit that you're talking about, you've just done. So the way we were doing it today, we overlap, cross, feed into the right, and squeeze into overseeing territory, and step down and bring the right side in and do the same overseeing territory. And then we stamp, step back, and strike a pose for sacred sword. Okay, so that's the way we were doing it today. I'll just kick this dog toy out. But the jump kick version is that. All right. So if I do it facing the front, I do the same move. So that section. Cross, feed into the right. Okay. So that's the jump kick version. Should we do it together for a bit? We'll do it a few times. I'll just pop you on mute because otherwise we'll hear whether you make a good connection or not. Let's see. Okay. All right. So we've just done, we've done fishing toad, immortal fishing toad, and we've done our series of spiraling, circling arms, the last of which we do a round kick and stand on the right and lift the left leg. Okay, so we're going to step down and gather and step through and press outwards. And that's the beginning of the preparation for this kick. So we're going to cross, turning the waist, back of hand comes across, up and over, and the left hand coming underneath, and we're going to feed down into the right and bring the right hand down. And then, let me see. Yeah, so right hand down, and then left hand over and down. So we're double feeding into that front leg. Let's do that again. So from the press, we come across, right hand up to come down, left hand up to come down. You're fully weighted in the front leg. We're going to lift the back leg, jump, and the right hand is coming over the top to meet the foot as you kick. And the left hand is coming underneath. So we always abide by the rules of yin yang, don't we? You'll see yin yang again and again. So if you watch it again from the front, we come across, circling the arms, right hand down, left hand down, lift, jump kick, step down, step back. Yeah. So it's kind of water wheeling a wee bit. So watch again. So we cross, weight back, weight forwards, right down, left down, jump kick, step down, step back. I think that's how it ends, is it? Let me see. Yeah, we step back, sorry, into a hug ball, a squashed hug ball, to then split into your sacred sword pose. Okay, so we'll do it again. Yeah. So we'll just go from the press, right hand is on the outside, right hand comes across, it comes up, it comes down, left hand comes up, it comes down, lift off the back foot, hit, step down, step back, and there's your hug ball, and separate. Good. Okay. So if you were a dancer, which I'm not sure any of you are, we would call that a hitch kick, because one leg hitches up and then the other leg kicks. So the hitch is designed to lift your bottom into the air to give you height. And then as the other leg comes up, the body is coming down, which further creates momentum and power into the rising leg. If the body is sinking as the leg is rising, it will give it more power as it goes up. So let's do it again. It's one of these things you can't do it slowly. You can't hitch kick slowly. So you can do the preparation slowly, but then if you're actually going to jump, you have to hitch kick, up, down. So as the leg that is hitched is going down, that's when the other one is extending. And it's not just straight, it is unfolding. And that unfolding, developing, if you're a dancer, also adds a whip-like quality to the kick. So I don't think any of Master Locke's kicks are just kind of straight. They're not. They tend to be bent, enveloping, or developing They don't just go up and down. Okay, so let's try. Ready? We come across, up, down, up, down, step, step, and fix the foot. Again. Cross, up, down, up, kick, step, down, and again. I think a little goes a long way with this kind of practice. You know, you don't want to knacker yourself. Pardon my French. Okay, ready? So we cross, up, down, step, step. Good. One more time for luck. Ready? Good. So that time I didn't slow it down. I just did it. So it's and da. Yeah? And da. Smack. So the downward force gives weight into the floor. So that gives you the power to then jump up. Remember the principle of yin and yang. If you want to go up, you have to go down. So you have a double down. You have the two arms and da, and then up. Okay. So does that help, Tony? Yeah, good. All right. Well, we have just about time to do it one more time. So are there any other questions, comments, anything else before we do it? And maybe this time when we do the jump, well, when we do the form, we'll do the jump rather than the balance. It's a very different energy, actually. The standing is very, you know, like a sculpture. It's very balanced, whereas the jump kick is incredibly dynamic. It's a little firework near the end of the form. Yeah, any other questions?
It's mostly okay. I'm mostly okay. It's been good because there's a few just placements where I was going there and I should be here. There's just small things just that I'm picking up when we're going through it, that it become not lazy but sort of by rote is wrong. So that this has been really helpful. And so there's no glaring, shall we say. There's nothing glaring, but there was small things that I can now work on to improve when I'm away.
Good. Okay. Look, please bear in mind when we do this form, and I'm online, I tend to iron the corners out, which honestly is really difficult for me because I tend to be very, it's this way and it has to be this way and it can't be any other way. And when it comes to doing online work, I've noticed that when I'm going to the corner, you can see nothing. So I tend to iron out the corners and make the angles a lot more to the side, just so that you can see what we're doing, which, as I say, it goes against my grain. It doesn't feel right. But if I just go to the corners the way it should be done, you just can't see it. And also it means that I'm traveling further and further from the screen. So just bear that in mind. Maybe this time as we do it, even though I will continue to iron the corners out of it, I will say this should be to 45, you know, so that you get the, even though I'm not doing it, you get the sort of designated angle. And having said that, I've mentioned this before, Master Lock is actually flexible in his angles. And this is unheard of. Certainly in my experience, I haven't noticed any other master going, well, you know, you can go a wee bit further, you can go a wee bit less. They're like, no, you go there. That's where it should be. That it's sort of cookie cutter Tai Chi. But Master Lock actually allows for comfort and for your pelvis. You know, some pelvises can open more comfortably and others can't. So, you know, 45 degrees actually has a 20 degrees leeway that you can go a wee bit further or you can go a wee bit less. And I've never come across that, as I say, before with anyone. Having said that, if you're doing a performance as a group, you jolly well have to all pick the same angle. You know, you can't all be kind of going off like wind up toys in different directions. It has to be the same. But from your own personal practice, there is actually leeway in this, Tony. So that's useful to remember. It's good to know where you should be going, but within that, actually, there is leeway. And it's not that this is right and that is wrong. If you're getting the steps correct and you're getting roughly, you know, that you're going to the corner, it doesn't matter if it's slightly wider or slightly less. That's actually okay. And if you look at Master Locke performing, I'm not sure I've ever seen him perform a form the same way twice. It's always very deliberate what he's doing. It's not that he's just making it up as he goes along, but he expresses himself the way he feels he needs to. And that could mean that one time his palms are facing out and another time his palms are facing in. You know, that he really does mix it up quite a lot. And I have known other teachers who do seem to do completely different things every time. And, you know, there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason. And that is more concerning for me because it leaves me in that same situation we were talking about earlier, going, am I doing this right? It's not how they did it last time. Maybe I made a mistake, you know, but there is leeway. There is leeway. Oh, lovely waggy duck. Okay, so I'll, do you want me to do the 45 degrees the way it should be done this time? Would that be useful? Yes, okay, I will do that. So I'm not going to iron corners. I'm not going to adapt it for screen comfort. So I'm going to do it the way it should be done. And this time, the only verbal stuff I will give is directions. So I'll, you know, say this is the corner. Even I won't even say 45. I'll just say corner, front, corner, back, and hopefully that will help. Okay, off we go. I'm always checking to see if I'm in screen. There we go. Ready? We lengthen up. Calming down. Listening behind. And let's begin. So the body is facing front, but you're looking to the corner. 45 degrees, corner. Continue to the corner. And continue to the corner. Now we're stepping diagonally back to the back corner. Still working on the same corner. And stepping to the corner. Now stepping to the other corner. Now 45 degrees, corner. Still working to the corner. All of this to the corner. Whoops, sorry. To the opposite corner. Back to the corner. It's all corner work. corner, not to the side. Now we turn to face the back. Step to the side. Turn. Now we face the side, but we step towards the front. Step forwards. Corner. Now we're going to do the jump. We come across, down, down, up, back to the corner. Corner, back. So we're facing the front, finish. Close, oops, sorry, close left. It's going into Phoenix mode there. Good. Well done. Well, how was that? Good, yeah. So you can see I iron out a lot because when we're doing it to the corners like that, I don't think you can see much. You can't see the hands. And so I'm out of puff. So you can see that's the format. And as I say, you can iron out the corners a bit, but it shouldn't be going to the sides. It should be going at least a bit diagonally. But most of the form is done to the diagonal, actually. And one thing, folks, that we haven't covered hardly at all in any of these Master Lock classes is the first thing that Master Lock says to us, that we should really stand for half an hour before we do the form. And we should stand for half an hour after we do the form. Yeah. So this is this concept within Taoism, so therefore within Tai Chi, that all movement comes from stillness and all balance comes from stillness. So if you stand, and actually Master Lock doesn't ask us to do Zanzong, standing like a tree with our hands up. He just wants you to stand. So with not any old way, but with your feet shoulder width, and just let go and breathe and calm, especially if you're out in nature, you know, if you're out in the garden or if you're at the seaside or if you're at the beach or whatever it is. I mean, don't get sunstroke, but stand and breathe and let go and be in stillness for a long time. In our classes, we're here for an hour and we're standing literally maybe 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, but it doesn't give you the same depth of experience and stillness as standing for a longer period of time, where your mind, if you're doing it conscientiously, your mind is unwinding and becoming quiet. Not brain dead, but you're more aware of what's happening within you and around you, rather than just constantly thinking. So when we're stood for 10 seconds, hopefully you're getting some part of that feeling of letting go and becoming quiet, but it's not the same as standing for a longer period. Even if you just do it once so that you can experience what it's meant to be like, because it completely transforms your practice when you bookend it in stillness. So even, you know, just even standing for, literally give yourself 2 minutes and see what the difference is. So though we're focusing on the choreography, and that's the bit that you can see, that's the bit that is formatted, and, you know, it's the manifestation of Tai Chi. Actually, the essence is captured in the stillness before and after. It is your sounding board, you know, so just like the guitar string, if you pluck the string, it'll make a sound, but it's very quiet. But if you put it next to a big echo chamber of nothingness, then it resonates so much louder and sweeter, and you can actually hear it. And Tai Chi is the same. That the part that an awful lot of Westerners don't even realize is part of it is that stillness is the catalyst for all the good stuff to actually fully express and have all the beneficial effects. So if you're coming to terms with the form and you're getting happy with it, now it's time to add the stillness training. Now it's time to add the standing practice. And we're not going to do much of it in class because I feel like an idiot asking for money to just get you to stand still with me. Though maybe I should, because it is very much part of it. And sometimes it needs that discipline of being together and doing it to actually do it. Similarly, I used to really feel very odd about paying good money to go to Donegal and, you know, organize accommodation, and, you know, it was really quite expensive. And then we would stand for 45 minutes to an hour in absolute stillness and absolute silence. And I'd be suffering. I'd be going, why am I paying for this? Why am I doing this? But it's part of it. And if you do it regularly enough, it's not torturous at all. It's very nice. But you have to build it up, do a little bit at a time. If you try and do 45 minutes having not done much, it will be torture. But if you start just with short stands, 1 minute, 2 minutes, you can build it up and you'll start to really understand why we do it, because it gives you that open spaciousness, clarity of mind, relaxed body, energy can flow, and it builds discipline, but it builds strength and what's that word? Stamina. You know, it's actually hard work to stand still. The body has to work internally very hard to maintain a still outer body. So have a play with that, please, because it will transform your work without having to learn a single move. You will elevate your practice to a whole other level, and it will keep elevating. So we're over time, folks. I'm sorry, but we'll finish off with a little warm down, and then I will let you go. So let's come into our space, and we're just going to do our little floppy doll position. So we flop the wrists and bounce on the heels. If you prefer not to have the impact, you can think of a gel cushion underneath your heels, or if you actually let the heels thump the ground just at the last centimeter, you get a lovely vibration through their bone structure. Very good for bone density. And let all your floppy bits go floppy and relax down. You don't need to do that for long to get lots of benefits. So stand, please, and feel the body tingle. Breathe. Good. Let's scoop the hands up to cover center, hugging your elbows in, checking posture, and relaxing down into your belly. And feel your energy is stronger. Very good. Relax down. So ask yourself, are you disciplined enough to do nothing? It is not being lazy, actually stillness and doing nothing, but just focusing on being and listening is actually very hard work. And you don't need capacity for learning movements to elevate your health and your Tai Chi practice. If you practice stillness, you will be ahead of the game. It's people who embrace this understanding that shoot forwards in their practice, Whereas if we believe that it's just the movements and the intricacy of movements, we're only getting half the picture. Remember, yin and yang, we need to have both movement and stillness. But the beauty is you can actually do wuji, you can do your standing practice, even sitting. You can sit by the beach, you can sit in the garden, you can sit in your armchair in good posture and breathe and listen and let go, and you will get a lot of the benefits. It's meditative, it's mindful practice, and it multiplies up your health and well-being. So folks, I hope you enjoyed your class today. Thank you so much for joining me. Salute. And I'll see you next time.